Hey, Yetta, do you want to increase your probability of being very happy?
I certainly do.
Moving forward with the Dekker team. Moving forward together with the Dekker team.
We are honored that for over 35 years, we've been able to come alongside you, journeying not only helping you sell, buy, and invest in real estate over 3,117 times, coming alongside you to build your faith, build your fun, build your finances, and even strengthen, heal, and flourish inside relationship. Discovery time. I always feel like we're going on the Discovery Channel because we kind of are. And the question is, how can we have 50% greater probability of being very happy, even in the midst of challenges?
It's easier than you think, apparently, according to the stats.
According to the stats. And I would say even according to our lived experience.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If we look at the big picture. And so sometimes I've heard in my faith circles that God should be enough. My relationship with God should be sufficient, and I shouldn't necessarily need to rely on people for part of my satisfaction level.
Mm-hmm. But as we, discovered in the first segment, that God said it's not good for man to be alone, and he needed to be with someone else, right? Someone close. And then we looked in the second segment at how do you love yourself and how you love your neighbor and who is your neighbor, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now we're going to look at, let me get the scripture here. I got to find it. Hebrews 10:25a,
right,
which says, let us not neglect to gather together, right? But encourage one another. So the few words left out there, but the idea is that we gather together and encourage one another.
Essential. And that's how, so talk about the stats, because I think they reinforce, so much of what is in the scriptures is reinforced or further validated or confirmed.
Lived out, just like science. Science validates or confirms.
And validates much of what is in the scriptures, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so this is no different. So it's kind of fun to look at the stats about how it actually shows up in the living of it, the living out of what we're commanded to do.
Right. So Pew, P-E-W, Research did a study, and they checked people that were meeting in community regularly and people that were not. And 36% of the people meeting regularly in a faith community said they were very happy. And that was only 25% for those that were not meeting regularly. Then the other thing they did was, let's look at who volunteers outside of the church, right? Why do you think that's important?
Again, it creates community. And it allows us to contribute to someone else. And we know that it's more blessed to give than receive. So as we give and as we contribute, it actually contributes to us.
Yeah.
How crazy is that?
My experience, I think, is like your experience. And that is, if I'm feeling down, all I got to do is go volunteer and assist somebody that's in a worse situation than I am. And suddenly I'm grateful for my situation, right? It can change your attitude, and it takes your mind off of self when you're serving somebody else.
So what was that stat? You digressed.
Oh, yeah. Well, regular attendees of church were at about 58% volunteered outside of the church in the world, right? And those that were affiliated with the church that maybe didn't attend regularly, 51% were volunteering outside of the church. And for those that had no affiliation with any church, it was down to 39%.
Right.
And I think there's a correlation there to the happiness scale, right? Because it's not all about me. It's about helping somebody else. It's about loving my neighbor.
Right. As myself. And yet it's all connected, isn't it? We can't separate it all out.
No.
It's all part of the
it's
same
a beautiful
equation.
tapestry that
And
God
if you
has
want to
weaved.
do some volunteering, I just had a thought.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. So we have the Building Wealth Wisely workshop coming up on September 25th. And we've been encouraging you, if it sounds like it's for you and you have any youth in the house that are 15 or so to early 20s, before they have their first real paycheck. That's kind of the trick here, or the insight that we want you to hang on to. We encourage you to go register. And if you're older than that, yes, still register. We did do a previous show that unpacked why you would want to be there, who would want to be there. So you might want to go back and watch that one. And in addition to attending for a whole family for only $47, no little kids though, right? Because that would be disruptive. And space is limited, so get your registration done. Hopefully there's still room.
Can you get back to volunteer?
Yeah. If you want to come volunteer and support us in the community and support the community at the Dekker Team Building Wealth Wisely workshop, we could use some volunteers.
What kind of things would they do?
Well, they could serve maybe some popcorn. Because, you know, we usually break out the popcorn. Even though it's only 90 minutes, there'll be some popcorn before and after. You won't have a scheduled break in the 90 minutes, right? We'll probably have some water, likely coffee
We might
too.
need somebody to greet people at the front door and show them to the room we're in.
Absolutely, because it's at the back of the building. So if you come and there's no volunteer, then just keep walking once you get into the building. That's the answer. Anyway, it would be great to get to know you from that perspective.
Yeah, so if you'd like to volunteer, send us an email at together@dekkerteam.com.
And if you want to get tickets, just go to the Dekker Team website.
Yep.
Yeah.
So what happened with us, with our faith community, when we got a faith community? Because we were a wreck.
We keep talking about how much of a wreck we were.
We were.
And we really were a wreck. And the one thing we knew we wanted for over a decade is we knew that we wanted out of here.
Yeah, we wanted to go back home because we didn't have a family in Ottawa. We were just the two of us.
And then we had
family
kids.
was 5 hours away. And we had some kids, but we wanted to get back to family. We never felt at home.
We never did until some of my first clients prayed us into the kingdom.
Right.
And they
Into the
invited us
church.
into their community. And they came alongside our kids. And as that all started to unfold, and we didn't even really know it was happening for 5 years after the fact. We didn't know the magnitude of that which was happening. It gave us a sense of community. And once we had community, we fell in love with the city.
Yeah. Yeah.
How
We
did the
can't-
city
we can't
change?
see
The
living
city didn't
anywhere
change.
else, right?
Right.
Yeah. Our community changed, right?
And so the great news is if you're living in community, whether you're in tough times or you're in celebratory times, they will support you and help you on the journey, and you can help them, and then we all feel better. That's the bottom line.
Right. So my challenge to you is, if you're not part of a faith community, find one and go out and volunteer today somewhere. You will be happier for it. We're thrilled that you joined us on Life's Inside Track, because when we move forward together, we've got this.
Moving forward with the Dekker Team.